Hi everybody and welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Keelin and I'm the Mental Health and Wellbeing Coordinator at Threshold Training Network. So we're going to be running a mini series, a course if you will, of short videos about kind of dealing with change. So in the last few months, all our lives, there was a huge upheaval with COVID-19. We were being asked to stay indoors. We were being asked to social distance and stay away from people outside of a certain area. So a lot of us couldn't really visit our friends or families or loved ones, go to places that we're used to going to. And now as the country is opening back up again and the restrictions are being gently lifted over a period of time, we're now being asked to change again back into our old routine. And the thing about change is it can bring about stress if it's not handled or managed effectively. So the whole idea of this mini series is just to kind of get you thinking and giving you the strategies for kind of coping with the stress that may arise from these changes that we'll kind of all be experiencing in the coming months. I just wanted to start off by saying that stress is normal. And if you're feeling a little bit stressed out with these changes, know that that's okay. We humans are creatures of comfort. So when we kind of get used to something like staying indoors, it can actually make it hard to go back outside again, even though it was something we enjoyed in the past. So if you're feeling a little bit of anxiety or tension around the restrictions being lifted, just please note that this is normal. Just try and be kind and gentle with yourself as we kind of get into our new normal, so to speak. So this week what I'll be covering, which I've shared here, is the stress bucket. So when we think of stress, I like to use the bucket analogy. So we all have different buckets. So if you think of it like everybody has an invisible bucket, and everybody's bucket size is different. So that's kind of depending on a lot of things. Genetics, some people are born with certain genes that make them more predisposed to stress than others. Personality types, research shows that certain personality types are also more prone to stress. And also when we think about stress, it's also important to remember, our lives up until now. So say for example, if you grew up in not such a supportive environment and your needs weren't met, say by your parents, that could make you more prone to stress when you're an adult. Or on the other side, you could have had the most loving and supportive parents in the world, but maybe there was issues with money, financial issues, and you grew up in poverty. Or maybe there was bullying at school, or there were certain instances that happened throughout your life. And these instances can make you more prone to stress. So when we think of the bucket, well, we can't change the size of our bucket because we can't change, our life up until now. Our genes, we're born with our genes. We can't really change those. And personality is also quite constant as well. But what we can change is we can give our bucket taps. So as you can see, the water goes into the bucket. So when we're thinking about the bucket, that's the stress that flows into the bucket. And if we don't have anywhere to drain the water, what happens is the bucket will overflow. And if the bucket's too full, it will snap. And that's what we don't want to happen. We don't want our bucket to snap. So what we can do is we can give our bucket taps. And there's many ways that we can do this. So healthy coping strategies can create taps which drain our bucket and keep our bucket safe. So when we're thinking of coping strategies, I'll be giving a little worksheet on this. We're kind of thinking about, in times of stress in the past, what did you do that was really helpful? Was there somebody you reached out to? Was there something, a hobby you did that you enjoyed? Anything at all. So I'll be sending with this worksheet that you can fill out just to get you thinking about your taps. So when we kind of do go through this change, you'll have the support of kind of knowing the strategies and what works for you. So when we're talking about taps, we're talking about, healthy coping strategies. And this helps our bucket drain. So the bucket is draining, so it's not overflowing or it's not full, and it prevents it from snapping. It's also important to note that there's false taps. So sometimes we do things that do make us feel better immediately when we have stress, but actually it ends up putting water back into the bucket. So if you see that tap there on the left-hand side, the water is going back in. So examples of this could be procrastination. So say you have some homework you don't want to do, so you procrastinate so you don't have to deal with the homework. So you immediately feel better, but the homework is still there. Other examples could be, you know, binge eating. When we eat, sometimes we can feel better and it kind of gives us more serotonin, but then afterwards we might feel a bit sick or we don't feel too good and the problem is still there. Now, a little bit of, say, distraction and, you know, eating the foods we enjoy is good, but it's just when we're using it as a way to kind of escape from the stress, that's not healthy. So I'm going to attach with this just a little worksheet to get you thinking about your bucket and what taps you might need. And just remember as well that, you know, some people's buckets are bigger than others, but even the big buckets need taps, and everyone can manage effectively once they have these taps on. So just think about maybe 2 or 3 things that would be really helpful for you. And just thinking about in times of stress before, what did you do that made you feel better, made you feel supported during the difficult times? So I'm going to attach this to the document now, and I will see you next Wednesday for our next video. And in the meantime, take care and stay safe. Bye.